Are you tired of feeling like your Subtlety Rogue is just tickling the boss instead of shredding it? In this quick guide, I'll show you how to unleash massive burst damage and keep it rolling, so you can finally top these meters. From the perfect opener to smooth cooldown usage, let's dive into the introduction to Subtlety Rogue. Subtlety Rogues excel at combining stealth-based openers with high burst cooldowns, weaving in precise combo point generation and potent finishing moves. The spec revolves around two major phases. First one is the burst phase, stacking cooldowns like Shadow Dance, Symbols of Death, Shadow Blades, and Flagellation to deal massive damage. And downtime phase, maintaining key buffs and damage over time effects like Slice and Dice and Rupture, and building up combo points efficiently until your next burst window. Your goal is to line up your major cooldowns, keep your bleeds and buffs up, and spend combo points on high-impact finishers at just the right time. Now we'll get to the opener. A well-executed opener sets the tone for the entire fight. Before you even pull, you'd always want to start from stealth, allowing your first attack to be Shadowstrike and granting Premeditation, a buff that ensures your opening attack generates full combo points. When you pull, you want to open the fight with Shadowstrike. It applies Find Weakness, an ability that reduces the enemy's armor for 10 seconds after using Shadowstrike or Cheap Shot, and gives you full combo points thanks to Premeditation. It also triggers certain hero talents if you have them, like Deathstalker's Mark or Unseen Blade. Then you would want to apply Flagellation, and you want to apply this before a finishing move. It stacks a mastery buff that grows as you spend combo points. Getting it rolling early ensures more time under a fully stacked buff. Then you would want Rupture active before you blow your big cooldowns, Symbols of Death and Shadow Dance, so that Rupture is empowered by them. Having it tick in early also prevents you from needing to reapply it mid-burst. Now it's time to pop your main damage buff, Symbols of Death. This significantly boosts your damage for its duration. Then you would want to use Shadow Dance, the core subtlety cooldown. Combine it with Symbols of Death to unleash your strongest burst. Now this is a small optimization thing, but if you're going for a Danse Macabre stacks, it's a stacking buff that slightly boosts your finishing moves. Slipping into a quick backstab before you go into your normal builder with Shadowstrike can net you an extra Danse Macabre stack. If this feels clunky, simply continue with Shadowstrike. Then you would want to use Shadow Blades. Delaying this slightly instead of using it immediately on pull lets you benefit more from the first combo point generator, Premeditation and Shadowstrike. Both effects cause your builder to grant full combo points, so stacking them from the start can cause waste. Then the big finishing move, Secret Technique. Casting it in the first Shadow Dance ensure it will be ready again during your second burst window, especially if you're running talents that reduce Secret Technique's cooldown or benefit from multiple casts. It's effectiveness with higher flawless form stacks. From here on, you transition into your usual rotation. Keep an eye on your cooldown timers and resources, energy, and combo points so you can keep the pressure on. Now we'll talk about the single target rotation, and it's divided into two segments, during Shadow Dance and outside of Shadow Dance. During Shadow Dance, you want to prioritize your finishing moves, preferably if you have 6 or more combo points. Out of those finishing moves, you would want to prioritize Secret Technique if it's available, and Eviscerate if Secret Technique is on cooldown. After you've used your finishing moves, you can build more combo points with combo point builders like Backstab if you need an extra Danse Macabre stack and have Premeditation up, or Shadowstrike otherwise, as it does higher damage and applies Find Weakness, which you should have talented. And now for the single target rotation outside of Shadow Dance, you'd still want to prioritize finishing moves, again with 6 or more combo points, and the priority goes as follows. Secret Technique if Symbols of Death is active, Eviscerate to refresh Slice and Dice if it's not up or it's about to expire, Rupture if it's not up or has less than 9 seconds remaining, and Eviscerate otherwise just for straight damage. As for combo point builders, you would want to Backstab, this is your default filler, or if you have it talented, you can use Gloomblade, it ignores armor, giving you more damage in certain situations. Now we'll go over the multi-target rotation. And again, just like the single target rotation, you would have priority list inside of Shadow Dance or outside of Shadow Dance. Inside of Shadow Dance, you would still want to prioritize finishing moves, of course, with 6 or more combo points. Secret Technique first, still your top AoE finisher, And then you would want to prioritize Black Powder if there are more than 7 enemies. If there's fewer than 7 enemies, you would want to Eviscerate if Secret Technique is on cooldown. And for the combo point builders, you would want to Backstab if you want the Danse Macabre stack and you have Premeditation. Then you would want to use Shuriken Storm once if you have more than 7 enemies for a Danse Macabre stack, but avoid it with Premeditation so you don't waste full combo points. And then you would want to Shadowstrike if you have fewer than 7 enemies or you've already used Shuriken Storm for Danse Macabre. And now outside of Shadow Dance, again, you would still want to prioritize finishing moves with 6 or more combo points, and the priority goes as follows. You would want to Eviscerate to apply Slice and Dice if it's not up, and then you would want to Rupture if it's missing or it's under 9 seconds on the targets that live long enough. Then you would use Black Powder if you have more than 7 targets and not pushing for more Flawless Form stacks. And then you would want to Eviscerate otherwise. For the combo point builders outside of Shadow Dance, you would want to prioritize Shuriken Storm on 3 or more targets if Flawless Form is up, Backstab if fewer than 3 targets or if Shuriken Storm is unnecessary, and Gloomblade if you prefer the ignoring armor aspect, and of course if you're talented into it. Since Subtlety is mostly built around its cooldown, this section will go over the cooldown usage and synergies. Shadow Blades generally used after Flagellation in your opener. Continue using it in sync with your major burst, Shadow Dance and Symbols of Death when possible. Symbols of Death, you would want to use it on cooldown, or refresh it when less than 3 seconds maintained on its buff. Try to pair it with Flagellation and Secret Technique for maximum burst. Shadow Dance, always aim to have low combo points before pressing Shadow Dance, so you don't waste potential, and sync with your Symbols of Death whenever it's possible. Then you have Vanish. Use Vanish to re-enter stealth mid-fight, giving you another Shadowstrike or a free Premeditation proc. It's best used when you're low on combo points and you can pair it up with Symbols of Death, or if you're in between Shadow Dances for an extra burst. Then you have Flagellation, used with enough combo points to start stacking its mastery buff quickly, best combined with Shadow Blades for maximum synergy, and don't forget to refresh Rupture directly before or immediately after Flagellation. Then you have Cold Blood. Always try to use Cold Blood, an ability that makes your next damaging attack a guaranteed critical strike with your second secret technique during big cooldowns, Flagellation plus Shadow Blades, so it hits even harder. Then you have Thistle Tea. You want to macro it with Shadow Dance or use it manually during big burst if you need more energy. Thistle Tea is a small cooldown that temporarily boosts your energy, helping you to maintain your burst. Then you have your last cooldown, Goremaw's Bite. Use it on cooldown, ideally outside of Shadow Dance when you're low on combo points, so you can quickly jump back to 5 or more. Goremaw's Bite deals steady damage and helps you to regenerate combo points. We're almost done. I want to give you 5 key tips for success. 1. Combo point awareness. Don't overcap. Use your builders effectively so you can hit 5 to 6 points right when you want to use finishing moves. 2. Burst windows. You want to stack cooldowns together whenever it's possible. Shadow Dance, Symbols of Death, Flagellation, and Shadow Blades. 3. Maintain your buffs. Keep Slice and Dice up. Maintain Rupture on targets that live long enough and reapply them at sensible times, avoiding reapplying it in the middle of big bursts if you can help it. 4. AoE versus single target. Swap to Shuriken Storm plus Black Powder at high target counts if you have like 7 or more targets, but continue using Secret Technique as your top finisher if it's available. And 5. Practice. Subtlety thrives on smoothness and timing. The more comfortable you are weaving in these spells, the more lethal you become. Subtlety Rogue is all about precision and timing. A well-executed opener like the one I talked about earlier, combined with smart management of your cooldowns, Shadow Blades, Symbols of Death, Flagellation, and Shadow Dance, will let you unleash devastating burst damage. Outside of burst windows, maintain Slice and Dice, keep Rupture rolling, and build up combo points efficiently so you're ready to burst again when your cooldowns come back. With practice, you'll find your own flow and adapt to each fight's unique pacing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and drop a comment down below. Let me know what spec should I cover next. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.